Hello? 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 I got bored. If anybody's out there, if anybody joins. I was sitting here, I was like watching the live chat from somebody else. I'm like, wait a second. Chris, you're not doing anything right now. Why don't you do a live chat? And like, it was kind of tricky, like, to make this decision to go live because it's Friday night, and most people are out on Friday nights. And then you got someone like me, and like, I'm sober. My kid's over there watching YouTube. He's watching a bunch of video game stuff, so he doesn't want to hang out with me. But if you're like sober like me, or you're just a boring dad like me, then I figured you might be online right now and want to chat it up, want to hit me up with some dope questions about mental health or addiction, maybe some of the other videos I've done. So I'm just gonna chill here for a little bit, see what's going on, see if anybody's around. Oh hey, my dad. My dad didn't like. Thanks, Dad. Hold on, I'm just sharing this on my normal Facebook page. I have friends. I have a ton of friends, and like, I guess I just have the most mentally healthy friends on earth because they don't have any questions for me. But until then, just get my jam on. Got some music going on in my headphones. These are my big gaming headphones for when I'm getting my game on, which hasn't been for a while. I've been so busy, just so busy, so busy. But if anybody pops in, hopefully they ask a question. Someone else liked it. Okay. I'll take some likes. Take some likes. Some comments actually help a little bit more. So if you just pop in and you leave a comment, that'll help kind of boost this a little bit. So while I'm waiting for people, I'm gonna buy some books. Like if any of you are watching the replay of this, books is where it's at. Like literally most of the stuff that I talk about in my videos, like most of it, comes from books. It comes from books. Like the cool thing about books is that you find stuff that you're interested in, right? And you take like one concept from over here, and then you take another concept from over here, and you're like, oh wow, I wonder how those things kind of work together. And it's like really, really interesting. So okay, I got a few people on here right now, and I got this interesting theory, but I need to know kind of where you're at. Are you here for mental health stuff? Are you here for addiction stuff? So I've been brewing this kind of concept in my head. I'm thinking about making a video on it. I want to run it past you. If you're on the video, I want to run it past you, but I need you to leave a comment. Can I even see the comments? Yeah, I can see them. I'm good. Who's out there? Who's out there? Leave a comment. Say hi. It's okay. I ain't gonna bite you. You're just gonna sit here and look at me? Is that what we're gonna do? Is that the game we're gonna play? It's really creepy because I just see like a number. I see 3 people are watching and nobody's saying anything. This is a creepy experience. I don't know how people do this so much. Like, it's getting my anxiety going. It's like you're just peeking through the bushes, or like maybe like your blinds, just like, what's Chris doing? Let me see. I wonder if I go to the stream on my other screen over here, if I can see who's actually in here. So then maybe I'll like call you out on it. Oh wow, what? Now it says there's 5? What? There's 5 people in here? You guys aren't saying nothing? Oh, now there's 6? All right, cool. Well, let's get this party started, y'all. So yeah, like I got bored and I decided I was gonna answer some questions about mental health, mental illness, addiction, mindfulness. I just did a sick video about Narcan. Hope you watched it. It's good. Narcan is some amazing stuff. But also like anxiety, depression, life, stress. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing that I need to do a video about. I don't think a lot of people know the difference between stress and anxiety. See, a lot of people like assume like a channel like mine is for crazy people, and that's not the case at all. Like mental health is something that so many people are lacking. Like think about it. Healthy body, the thing that I do not have, right? But a healthy body, like if you looked at somebody, like you'd be like, oh, they are unhealthy. Like we need to start thinking about that with mental health. And so many people think that they don't need any kind of mental health help. And honestly, like I would say in my experience, probably 90% of people, 90%, 90 to 95% of people need some kind of mental health help. And if you're sitting there like thinking I'm crazy right now, the people who are constantly angry, who freak out on people, right? The people who just snap, just, right? The people who are constantly stressed out, losing their mind over every little thing, and they're just bouncing off the walls. Like so many people don't realize that they're showing symptoms, and when you don't realize, like a lot of people don't have the place to kind of base it off of, to kind of gauge it, to be like it becomes normal. Like when somebody is constantly like in a bad mood, or if somebody is constantly stressed, if somebody is constantly high strung, or if somebody is constantly just in fear of the future, that becomes normal for them, and they think, oh well, this is just the way it is. And like one of the reasons I started this channel, because I hope it like gets out there, like there's so many people out there who can improve their mental health, even if it's just a little bit, even if it's just a tiny little bit. I want to be able to help people just improve their health just that much. Like one of the things is social media. Social media drives people insane. It drives them nuts. People blocking each other, getting in crazy arguments, unfollowing each other. That's something I should do. I should start a video series on like how to handle social media without losing your mind. Like I got this one friend. I got this one friend. I could talk about him because he's not on Facebook anymore. But he goes in spurts. Like he'll be back in I don't know. He'll be back in about a month. But he goes on and off Facebook, on and off Facebook, and so much of it is because of the drama. Here's something that I talk to my clients about, and I'll throw it at all of you. So, you know, I ask my clients, I'm like, are any of you on Facebook, like, so I can stay connected with you, or da 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 da. And there's always a batch of people who are like, no. Oh, what's up, George? There's always like a batch of people who are like, no, I'm not on Facebook. There's too much drama. And like that is in like it's not even my opinion, it's just like mental health fact. That is unhealthy. That is like an avoidance technique. Because if you avoid anything where there's drama, like there's certain things that you can't control. Like for example, what happens the next time I go to a restaurant and 2 booths down or 2 tables down, there's drama? Am I gonna go, oh, well I'm leaving this? I guess in certain circumstances you might, like if things like if somebody was like gonna flip a table. But what about work? Like all of you have a break room, a coffee room and stuff. That is where drama lives. Do you just never go to the break room anymore? Like I don't know about you, but that's where my coffee is. So one of the things, and this is one of the reasons I practice mindfulness, is to learn how to deal with that stuff in a more healthy way. So we don't got to be like, oh, well, social media has drama, so I'm just never going to use it. Like that's crazy. Like that's how you stay in touch with like people from across the country. And you know, I'm not going to deprive myself of that tool because a few people on there post about how like their boyfriend's cheating on them, or you know their boss sucks, or the weather sucks, or they woke up late today and the world's ending. Like I'm not gonna get off of Facebook because of that. So like I don't know, when I talk about mental health, I want to emphasize that there's these very little small things that people can tweet. But now that I got some more people on the stream, I was just so you know, I was bored and I was like, hey, I'll answer some questions about mental health, about mental illness, about recovery, about addiction. Like if you have a friend or family member who's an addict, ask me some. Something I've been meaning to do is make a series for how to help your loved one. I don't know if I'm gonna blend it in with the Ask an Addict series. I might, but a lot of people don't know how to help somebody who's an addict. So what's this? How do you handle heavy nausea from withdrawal? Ooh, that's a good one. From withdrawals and any super addictive stuff, but have long-term history of LSD use and have been getting since stopping. Okay, cool. So withdrawal is a mother effer. Like, I don't know if you want to know the science of it and stuff, but your body is basically trying to regain homeostasis. Okay, it would be like if I just if I just went vegetarian tomorrow, my body wouldn't know what to do. I'll use a better example. If I just stopped drinking caffeine tomorrow, my body would not know what to do. So as far as the nausea goes, okay, the first thing I will tell you, anybody who deals with withdrawal, you people who are watching right now, if you have a friend, family member who's ever going through withdrawal, you know you're like crazy aunt who swears to God that she can't get off the opiate prescription medications because of withdrawal. I will give you the number one way to deal with withdrawal, and it is yoga. Yoga, yoga, yoga. Me, I personally didn't do it, but I have just seen my friends and so many people have yoga help them with withdrawal. Now, when it comes to nausea, though, I would recommend like going and getting like, you know, Pepto-Bismol, over-the-counter stuff. I did a cold turkey opiate detox. It was the worst experience of my life. It took about a week, and then I had a lot of stomach issues for the next 3 months, maybe. So I definitely feel your pain when you're asking about nausea and stuff. Like, it's brutal. It is very brutal. But whatever you can do. I was stupid, and I thought I was gonna tough it out and man up and stuff. But like, dude, go to the local pharmacy, ask them for some like Pepto-Bismol. You know, I don't know what else. Like, just tell the pharmacist what's going on. Stomach issues are a big one. I don't know if you were saying like the LSD is something that's causing the withdrawal symptoms or not, because I personally haven't heard of LSD causing that. Usually, it's a lot of mental symptoms, anxiety, depression, ups, downs, maybe some brief psychosis and stuff. But I haven't heard of too many physical things. So I don't know if you were doing something else. Yeah, man. Yeah. And here's the thing too. Like, okay, here's the thing about withdrawal. It goes away. It doesn't last forever. And so many people, like, for all of you watching right now, one of the reasons, aside from dying, one of the reasons why you shouldn't detox on your own, it's one of the leading causes of relapse because it sucks. But like, I'm living proof that you can get through it. Like, I did it cold turkey. All my roommates were taking Suboxone. For any of you in here not familiar with addiction, Suboxone greatly helps with opiate withdrawal. But I did it cold turkey because I lied to the doctor and he didn't give me anything. And it was brutal, but I made it through it. And guess what? Like, and I'll say this to you, man. Like, one good thing about going through withdrawal is it keeps me clean. Like, I never want to go through that again. Anytime I'm like, you know what? Opiates sound like a good idea today. I quickly remember what it was like to go through withdrawal. Never want to go through that again. So, something that helps keep me clean today. Well, what's up? How about the rest of you? How about the rest of you out there? Questions you got? Have any of you been practicing mindfulness? Any of you tried meditating? Any of you been watching my depression hack series? Okay, one of you will make my day if you say you've been watching the depression hack series and you've actually been doing at least one of the techniques I've given you. If anybody out there, anybody. Oh, hold on. How can I get my 25-year-old son to want to? They have used Narcan at least 5 times. Okay, I'm glad. Oh man, I love when you guys ask me like these real questions. So hold on, let me adjust something on my other screen. So check it. This is something I just dealt with an overdose death, and then I went to the Narcan training yesterday. Let me tell you, and I hope I can give some clarity to you because this is a very, very real thing. So opiates, especially opiates, alcohol, benzos, those all cause depression. Pretty much 99% of the drugs that anybody uses for a long time are going to cause depression. When I got clean, that was the biggest issue. When they took the alcohol and drugs away from me, I was still suicidal. I was like, my life sucked. I used alcohol and drugs to deal with my crappy life, right? So what you're asking me is like trying to find that willingness to live. It happened piece by piece. Now the first one is, and I'll let you know from a scientific level, the first one is going through detox. It's the mind is so cloudy in the first week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks that all it can think about is how miserable your life is without the drugs. And a lot of people start thinking about that. They're just like, my life is going to suck forever. Why am I even alive? But what happened to me was, and this is another reason why I do the Depression Hack series, is for me, I was getting these accidental spurts of dopamine. And it was just from real life stuff. I'll never forget the first time I laughed when I was sober. Like I just had that really good, like that gut laugh, and I was just laughing with one of the guys in my sober living, and it caught me off guard. It was almost like I just saw like an alien. I was like, whoa, what was that? Because I hadn't laughed sober in so long. And that was one of the first indicators, like something clicked in my head where it was like, oh my God, life doesn't suck. But I will say this about your son. Like, I know you love him more than anything. I know you want to be there for him, but I think in order for him to get on that path and see that light at the end of the tunnel, see that being sober is probably the best thing that can happen to anybody who struggles with addiction, is to get him into some kind of treatment or at least a sober living house. A lot of that willingness to live, like I trick clients, by the way. I trick clients all the time. The best way to get somebody to help themselves is to make them think they are helping somebody else. So let's say your son goes to a sober living home. Now he's not thinking about him all the time. He's thinking about helping other people. Like the camaraderie that addicts and alcoholics find together is just mind-blowing. And I'll be honest with you, there was days when I didn't want to stay sober for myself, but I stayed sober for my friends. So, and when you do that, that's another way to create dopamine in your head just by helping other people. So, like to answer your question, like just very briefly, you can't force your son to find that willingness to live, but you can like gently nudge him in the direction where he will start finding it. But also remember antidepressants too and stuff like that. Since I've been on depression medicine for several months now, I'm finding I'm not experiencing full range of emotions anymore. It has helped with my depression, but I'm not able to feel sadness when it's necessary. I don't want to stop taking it because I'm still early in recovery, 131 days. Congratulations on that. You passed that century mark, because I'm worried about a drastic change in my emotions. What do you think? Like, I'll be 100% real with you. That's exactly what happened to me about a month ago when I got off my antidepressant / anti-anxiety medications. For me, what my experience was, like, I had kind of like an inkling that maybe I wasn't feeling anything. I thought I was just calm all the time. But then my dad, he had this medical emergency, and he went, I like left Las Vegas because he was having quadruple bypass, and I was extremely calm. Like, I was too calm. Like, I meditate a lot, but even something like that, I was like, something's not right. So now, keep in mind, I'm at 5 years sober. I will say it was probably at about 3 years, 3.5 years sober that was the first time I tried to get off my medication. But I understand. So a couple things I would do: talk to a doctor, because a lot of these medications have that side effect where you don't feel things. So talk to your doctor about it, because there might be other options where they don't have those kind of side effects. The next thing is to remember, and I did a video on this about how depression medications work. Those are meant to start jump-starting systems in your brain. So like, you have to like kind of, sometimes it's just like, okay, maybe for a while I'm going to be numb, and then my brain, like, you can take the training wheels off. Because now, just let you know, even with 5 years sober, like, I got off my depression meds a month ago, and I'm getting like this. It's like, you got to be careful what you wish for. I got off my medications, and I am feeling everything. Like, you can ask my girlfriend. Like, I have been having my ups, my downs, and stuff, but thank God I have a mindfulness meditation practice to fall back on and stuff, which really helps me step back and realize, like, okay, Chris, that's not you. That is the depression. That is the anxiety. That's something we call non-identification, by the way. Any of you watching with mental illness, non-identification is very important to your mental health, where you're separating yourself from the illness. Because too many times, even if you're an addict watching this, you are not the disease. And when we separate ourselves from it, we can kind of look at it as its own entity. And then it's like, okay, how do I fix you? How do I fix that thing? You know what I mean? But then also, my depression and anxiety, they kind of go hand in hand. I have severe general anxiety disorder. I wouldn't say as severe as it used to be, but my anxiety's up here, and then my depression is down here. It's like minor depression. So a lot of times, like, and this is crazy because I don't have an anxiety series out yet, but my anxiety, what I've noticed a lot is that it manifests in the ways that hurt the people around me, because my anxiety, it manifests into anger. Not even so much anger. My anxiety manifests into frustration. And frustration and anger are like, there's a very fine line between those. But when it comes to your medications, talk to your doctor. I would say for at least a year, stay on your medications. Like, yes, that might be a year where you're not feeling a full range of emotions, but it's better than you going crazy. Like, the whole thing with Chester Benningfield. Like, I've been watching so many interviews and reading so much about it, and I truly believe, like, just based on the information that's out now, is that his depression just happened to catch him right at the wrong time where he made a very bad decision. You know what I mean? So a lot of us aren't prepared for that, because when that voice gets loud in our head, it's very hard to tune it down. So I think for at least a year, stay on the medications. You might not feel as much, but a year of doing that to repair and heal your brain is going to be a lot better for the rest of your life in the grand scheme of things. So let me see. He detoxed at least 4 times and did rehab 3 times. And the last time he helped someone and they used together. That is a risk. That happens. I've done tough love, and yes, his life wasn't the greatest, but he did have love for me and his sister. So, and yes, I understand I can't help him. You're welcome. But I need to find a way to get him to help himself. So, I recommend, like, if you want, you can message me on the side, and maybe we can set up like a more in-depth phone conversation. But for anybody watching, if any of you are addicts or alcoholics or something like that, like this week, somebody in treatment hit me with a question. They hit me a question with a question that I've had before, but I don't think I've been truly honest about it. Maybe that's part of me dealing with my full range of emotions. But I've been getting really real with my clients lately, because somebody asked me this week that said, like, he kind of interrupted me because, like, I think he was trying to make a point to some of the other clients I have in treatment. And he was just like, how many people relapse after they leave here? And he just interrupted me and said that. And he caught me at the right time. And I'll tell you this, okay, anger too, I'll touch on that. So one of the things is that I tell everybody, I personally hate those statistics that are meant to scare people. Like, look to your right, look to your left. One of those people or both of those people are going to relapse, or one of those people is going to be dead within a year. I hate that. I hate it. Because 100%, in my experience, 100% of the people who do what they're supposed to do stay sober. Not only do they stay sober, but they live an amazing life. So what I'm getting at is, and why we might need to talk on the side, like in private, so I can gather some more information. Like, you can always tell. Like, I guarantee when I analyze anybody who's relapsed or anybody who's a chronic relapse, it's because they weren't doing something. And that's why addiction is literally the most difficult. I don't want to say that. I don't want any of you, like, especially if one of you shares it with that like original guy who said addiction isn't a disease. Like, I will get burned at the stake. So I won't say addiction is the worst disease to combat with, but it is definitely up there because we as humans are so stubborn. Maybe it's more Americans, but we are so stubborn. So many people, when they are told what to do, hey, you need to go to meetings. Hey, you need to go to this sober living. Hey, you need to go to therapy. Hey, you can't hang out with those people. Here's a good one. I did a video about this the other day. Hey, you cannot date or should not date for your first year. Everybody's like, trying to tell me what to do, right? Like, people are just so stubborn. So I would assume, and I think I'm not a psychic. I've just been around way too many relapses in the last 5 years. Like, I would almost guarantee with your son that he's not doing what he's supposed to do. Now, to be honest with you, I would recommend you talk to your insurance company if he's still on your insurance. Talk to your insurance company and see what type of long-term extended programs he can get into. If you were to get sober, if anybody was to get sober, I think it's in Denmark, you'd be in treatment for 6 months. Boom, that's it. They pretty much keep you in this environment, this sober environment, for so long that it is almost a guarantee that you're going to stay sober. Unfortunately, due to the American healthcare system, 30 days, 45 days, some people get 90. But there are some insurance coverages where they pay for 6 months worth of treatment. Some places pay for a year worth of treatment. Like, it's crazy. So this is something that often comes up with young people, especially, and it's really heartbreaking because young people also, that part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, it's responsible for fear modulation, and young people have not developed that. So young people either think they're not going to die or they don't care about dying and stuff like that, and it's a really bad situation. But the best suggestion I can give you, get him into some kind of long-term care. I've kept in touch with me as a treatment. Oh, dang. Okay, cool. There's always, just so you know, there's always a good batch of people, and that's the kind of stuff I like to hear. You're always getting a good batch of people who come in, and like there was a group who came through treatment a year ago in February, and like so many of them are still sober. So they've had over a year sober, and a lot of it's just because they just all did what they were supposed to do too. I've been watching your YouTube channel all night. Yeah, cool. It's so nice to see someone speaking the truth, especially now, even almost 6 years in. It's nice to have a reminder and refresher on the basis. Yes, right? Like, and Roseanne, shoot me a message. You should be able to message me on the Rewired Facebook page. Shoot me a message, and after I finish this up, I'll contact you. But yeah, that's one of the beautiful things about working in a treatment center, is that I'm constantly working with newcomers. So since I'm constantly teaching them the basics, it reminds me of the basics. Now, transferring the basics outside of work, that's a whole different thing. Like, because then there's that balance of it too. But yeah, no, I get it. Like, I have a brain that tells me I've learned everything, and that's why I'm constantly trying to learn more and more and more and more and more. Because yeah, like the basics are what not only help me sober, like just with my mental health. My mental health over my first 2 years sober skyrocketed. Just like I mentioned earlier in this live stream, at the beginning I was contemplating suicide and wanted to die in sobriety. And then I just became so happy, and then I kind of had my ups and downs. But I'll tell you this, any of you watching right now, when I found meditation, and mindfulness is a form of meditation, when I found that, my great days are almost all the time. Just almost all the time. So if you're not doing it, you need to be doing it. I only do it 10 minutes a day. Like, it's not something where it's like I think a lot of people are like, oh my God, I gotta like meditate for an hour. Like, no, you don't. Like, there are scientific studies out there that say if you do this for even 10 minutes a day, like on a biological level, you're going to get more gray matter in your brain and it's going to grow and strengthen your prefrontal cortex, but you're going to notice it too. And that's kind of tricky too. Like sometimes the changes within you and the way you think are very subtle. Also, well, about you and your son too. I would ask too, are you going to any Al-Anon meetings? I would want to know that, or are you doing any kind of therapy yourself? That's something I would like to know too. Sorry to get sidetracked, it just popped in my head. But yeah, if any of you people are watching this right now, like, and you're not meditating, do it. And if any of you are watching right now, I'm gonna start doing mental health book reviews, just books that have helped me out so much. And one that I'm finishing right now is Success Through Silence. I think it's called Success. Oh, Success Through Stillness by Russell Simmons. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, my man. So Russell Simmons, he was one of the founders of Def Jam Records. His brothers run from Run DMC. Just huge philanthropist, just all around good dude. And after seeing so many of his interviews, I was like, I gotta check out his book. And this, like, I read one of his other books first, and then I read this book. And this book, man, it just from start to finish is just, he explains so well why you need to be meditating. Now, Russell says you got to do it 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night. I ain't about that life yet, but he explains very well. Like, I often find myself having a problem, or maybe it's just being self-conscious, but I feel like I'm not doing meditation any justice when I'm trying to sell people on it. When I'm telling people how beneficial it is, I feel like they're just rolling their eyes like, yeah, Chris, sit in silence, and I just want to shake their face and just say, you don't understand, this will help you so much. So if you're interested in that, I highly suggest you get his book, Success Through Stillness. It is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, I was probably going to stay on here another, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes maybe. See if my kid's done watching video games on YouTube. Because we got this new video game, and I'm trying to get down and play that with them too. Oh, okay, cool. Yes, you know that. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And the other thing is too, so the Rewired Soul, so, I'll talk about this for a little bit unless anybody has any mental health questions and stuff. The Rewired Soul, originally we were starting it as a website to do courses and stuff, and when I say we, it's my mom. So, like, I didn't grow up in the program. My mom was trying to gently shove the program on me. But now she has 12 years sober, I have 5 years sober, and we've been trying to find a way to work together. And she's in California, I'm in Las Vegas. So the easiest way for us to do that is we were starting the Rewired Soul, which is the website. But then, like, a long time ago, like earlier this year, I was trying to do videos, but I wasn't really gathering steam. But then last month, like when a bunch of everybody heard about me, like I was like, oh man, I need to get back into that. But yeah, like it's cool that you grew up in the program and you know so much about it. Like, but I don't know, and we'll talk a little bit. I might even set you up with my mom. My mom does phone sessions and stuff like that. Like, I have a son. I have a son who's 8 years old, and knock on plastic, which is my best. He hasn't become an addict yet, or hopefully he doesn't become an addict at all. But I haven't had to go through that with him. Like, I can share my experience, and you know what, Roseanne, go to my website, go to therewiredsoul.com. I think my book's still on there for free. I'll type it in here, therewiredsoul.com, and read my book. I think there's still free copies up on my website. I haven't taken them down yet. If not, it's on Amazon for like $5. But I share my story, and I really go in depth and talk about how I got out of that depression and into wanting to actually live a better life, and how I did it and stuff. So that might help you. But anyways, I might link you up with my mom, because I can share with you the perspective of a son who is addicted, but I can't share my experience of being a parent who has an addicted child. Another great book is called, I'm typing in here, B-A-U, I gotta like sound out letters to myself. Be a Beautiful Boy by David Sheff. Is it with a, I don't think it's with a C. David Sheff, his son was addicted to meth and went to like a dozen treatment programs, and now his son's sober now, and you know their relationship's amazing. So my book is my book, and then that guy, he's like a New York Times bestseller and stuff. If you know that stuff matters, but you might be able to get some advice and stuff like that from there too. But yeah, like I said, message me and we'll talk though. I'm a social worker major, so all of this is right up my alley. I plan to work with at-risk youth since I started as a teenager. Girl, did you watch my Narcan video? Like, okay, my Narcan video is 22 minutes, but it is filled with awesomeness. Like, so check it. I don't know, where you from? Where you from, Rachel? Where you live at? Like, don't like give me your address. Just tell me like, like state, maybe city-ish. City and state. I don't know. I'm not going to track you down. I'm just curious. All right. Well, I'm waiting for you to type that if it's still here. But in my Narcan video, I talk about how Las Vegas, just so you all know, and you can Google this thing, Las Vegas is the first city to have a public recovery high school. That is amazing. So like you're saying, my kids following my footsteps is my biggest fear. Yep. Oh, I'll answer that in a second. But like, yeah, it's like since you want to be a social worker with kids and stuff like that, I would recommend wherever you're from, like start asking or talking or getting the community involved and seeing if you can open up a recovery school. Like schools, and I need to do a video about this. I have a whole rant that I go on about how schools don't teach kids about mental health, but I also, you know, I say that that's the parents' job because the schools aren't doing it. Because what happens too often is schools aren't helping kids with mental health, and then the parents think that this is the school's job, so they don't help their kids with mental health, and then it's like, and then all of a sudden the kid's like smoking dope, and everybody's like, well, I don't know how that happened. It's like, well, I do. You never taught this kid how to deal with life. You taught him how to deal with it. You taught him how to do geometry. You know what I mean? So mental health is a big deal. Now, yes, I get it. When I first got sober, it's lessened over time. When I first got sober, my huge fear was my son going to become an addict? Like, I was constant, like, even to this day, he's 8 years old now. I'm watching him, and I'm like, are you addicted to this? And, man, like, mindfulness helps me get back to here and now. And remember, like, my kid is not even around drugs or alcohol right now, like, aside from, like, his mom's side of the family, they're normies. You know, they drink and stuff like that, but here's the biggest thing, Rachel. I learned this a long time ago. The best thing you can do with your kids is have an open line of communication. See, there's two ways of thinking that are completely wrong. They're so wrong, it's insane, because like I hate how there's not more publicity about these studies. But when you tell kids not to drink or use, they're gonna drink and use. When you tell kids that it's okay to drink and use, they're gonna drink and use. At the end of the day, they're gonna drink and use. The best thing, statistically, with your children is to have open lines of communication. Because a lot of times, kids will not, like teenagers, like when they start getting to that age, when they feel that they cannot approach an adult with questions about these things, is when they start sneaking it. They start experimenting. They start hiding it. Those are the reasons why they do it, is because they are afraid that they are going to get in trouble. So my son's not at that age yet, but something I'm doing with I don't know how old your kids are. Oh, love right back at you in Texas. But I don't know how old your kids are. My son's 8 years old, and we work on his mental health all the time. Like, I'm not saying he's crazy. Mental health needs to quit being associated with mental illness. Like, that'd be like saying physical health is associated with physical illness. Like, no, mental health is just mental health. So my son and I, and his mom even does a good job of it too, and I think it's because she started to see the changes in him and stuff. Like my son, like it's never too early to start working on mental health with your kids. Like I teach my son mindfulness, I teach my son meditation, and it works. Like when that little boy comes to me and tells me about a rough situation, like those rough situations for like 8-year-olds that are like and he tells me how he like used a breathing technique to calm down, or he did something that was very empathetic to help somebody else out. Like that is just mind blowing to me. And like I'm by no means the best parent in the world, but like when you practice these things with your kids, you see it. See, I came from a household where my dad just told me to do the right things, but I don't like, since I wasn't really like focused on my mental health, I just kind of became a people pleaser and a codependent type person. You know what I mean? But when you start teaching your kids about the balance, the biggest thing we can teach our kids is it's okay to have feelings. It's okay. You know? Like every once in a while, like my 8-year-old kid, he'll like apologize for crying. I'm like, why are you apologizing? You're sad. Cry. That's what happens. You know what I mean? It's just we need to start working on the behaviors associated with them. So like I get the stress and stuff like that of, is my kid gonna turn out like me and stuff? And hey, I'll tell you this. Like, since I don't like to zone in on the negative thinking, the rewired soul, like that's why I make the motto where we don't like we talk about the problem but focus on the solution. Like, what if your kids turn out like you in the good way? Right? You're clean, you're sober now, pursuing social work, want to help out young people. Like, what if your kids follow in those footsteps? You know, I think too many of us, we think of, and that's just how our brains are wired. We think about the negative first before the positive, but like just that very small change in perspective, it's like, oh, like I'm sitting here like, oh no, what if my son turns out like me? And like from an outside perspective, other people are like, that'd be great if your son turned out like you. I'm like, well, okay, yeah, that'd be cool. You know, so yeah. So good luck with that. But just take it a day at a time. Most you can do is work on communication with your kids, mental health. I'm going to do, just so you know, I don't know if you're even still there, just so you know what's coming when like my time schedule gets better. I'm gonna make a whole series about working on mental health with kids, because I read a lot of books and I have a lot of information and techniques to help children with mental health. Because I was a kid who struggled with mental health issues, and I really don't want any other children to struggle with that. It's kind of it's kind of like a big like mission I'm on, but like hell, even if I get like five, even if I got 5 parents who watch these videos, like my life could be complete, because they might start teaching their kids some practices to work on their mental health. So yeah, I have time for one more question. If anybody's out there, you got something about mental health, got something about addiction, got something about mental illness, got something about stress, anxiety, depression, bipolar. Bipolar, I'm kind of iffy on. Borderline personality disorder, though. Got that. Aha! Message me on Facebook. Yes, they're starting one up. I think like within the month. I think they just sent an email out about it too. So yeah, shoot me a message so I can make sure I get your information over to the correct people. But yeah, they're starting something up in Houston. But yeah, hey, if that's all we got, and like, I'll definitely be looking forward to that. Still struggling myself, so I completely understand. Hey girl, like check out my other videos: mindfulness, meditation, depression hacks, all those things. Like, I want my videos to mainly focus on what you can do, because like I want to help more people decrease their suffering. So just keep an eye out on the videos and stuff. But anyways, like I'll be doing these regularly. Like the fact that this number has only been going up between 4 and 10 people, good. I don't need 100 people in here just babbling stuff. And so like I'm really glad that I got to talk to a few of you on a more personal level. Hopefully anybody who watches this might be able to take something out of it too. But I thank you all who are still here with me. I see there's 3. But I'm going to take off. try to go play some video games with my son. I will be answering messages if you guys have any that you want to send me. I'm kind of slow on them because the way that app works is very weird on the phone. But anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here with me. Like, message me questions, email me questions. I need more stuff to do my videos on. And remember, any question that you have, it is guaranteed that thousands of other people have that question too. So always be asking questions. All right, y'all. Have a good weekend. I am out.